January 23, 1942. Paris, France. The theater is alive with chatter and the sound of shoes tapping against the grand marble floors. The ornate chandeliers above cast a soft, golden hue over the crowd, and the scent of perfume fills the air. It's opening night, and the room is packed with critics, aristocrats, and intellectuals, all there to witness Marguerite Leclerc's newest performance. She steps onto the stage, radiant, with eyes that catch the light in a way that makes her seem almost otherworldly. The audience falls silent in admiration, and for a moment, it feels like the war itself, raging just beyond the borders of the city, has faded into nothingness. She smiles, a practiced, effortless gesture, and begins to deliver her lines. The words are elegant, precise, filled with emotion. Her voice resonates, soft yet commanding, weaving through the script like an artist's brush over a canvas. But even as she captivates the audience with her skill, something flickers in her eyes, a fleeting moment of recognition that only a few ever see. Beneath the perfect facade of the actress, beneath the velvet curtains and the stage lights, lies a different woman entirely. Marguerite isn't just a talented actress. By day, she is an embodiment of the theater's grandeur, a rising star in Paris's artistic circles. But by night, in the shadows of the city she loves, she becomes something else, something far more dangerous. A spy, a resistance fighter, a woman walking a tightrope between survival and death, playing a game with the most unforgiving of adversaries, the Nazis. Her day and night lives couldn't be more different. As she stands before the audience, reciting lines with grace, she knows that her every move is being watched. A single misstep could bring her world crashing down. Every word spoken in the theater, every smile flashed on the stage, is a mask. And behind that mask, in the quiet hours of darkness, Marguerite works tirelessly for the French resistance. Her apartment, a small but meticulously maintained flat, is filled with more than just the remnants of her acting career. Framed photographs of her on stage, the posters of sold-out performances, the script notes she's written in the margins. It also holds the tools of a spy, coded messages hidden in books, photographs of key Nazi officials pinned to the walls, and small, almost imperceptible traces of weapons and explosives. Her mind, sharp and calculating, has been trained to navigate both the world of espionage and the delicate art of performance. In these moments, she is a master of disguise, switching between roles as easily as one changes costumes between acts. By day, she's Marguerite, the charming actress who wows Parisian society. By night, she's a shadow, slipping in and out of underground resistance meetings, taking down notes, passing along vital information that could alter the course of history. One night, as she waits for a message to be passed to her at a clandestine meeting in a dimly lit cafe, her nerves are stretched thin. The cafe is bustling with activity, but there's an unmistakable tension in the air. A few of the patrons are dressed in a way that seems almost too perfect, too formal for a place like this. Marguerite's fingers subtly tap on the table, a signal to her contact, a simple man in a worn coat, whose face she has never seen before. The coded message arrives in the form of a piece of bread with a marking on the crust, a simple enough message to anyone who knows the code. But to her, it's an affirmation. Another step forward. She takes the message and places it in the hidden pocket of her coat. No one would suspect the young actress with a smile that could light up the room, but those who do know understand that she is no ordinary performer. She is a crucial cog in the resistance machine, taking down names, identifying targets, and aiding the sabotage of Nazi operations all over the city. But there are risks. There are always risks. On the stage, she is beloved. In the darkened corners of the city, she is hunted. As she leaves the cafe, her heart pounds with the knowledge that the Gestapo could be watching her every move. The resistance network she's working with has grown larger, but so have the stakes. The more information she gathers, the more valuable she becomes to both the resistance and the Nazi forces. In the past few weeks, a few close allies have disappeared, arrested, tortured, and executed, and Marguerite wonders if she'll be next. But there's no turning back. The stakes are too high now. At the theater, the performance continues, and Marguerite steps into her next role, again becoming the dazzling star, the graceful actress. But even as the play unfolds around her, her mind is elsewhere. Her focus is split. She's listening to the director's instructions, but she's also scanning the audience for any signs of danger. A lone figure in the back row catches her eye. Is it a spy? A Nazi official? Or is it simply a patron who came for the show? Her movements on stage become more calculated, more deliberate. Each step is a balancing act, a dance between her two identities. The character she plays is strong, confident, and unflinching in the face of danger. The actress herself, however, feels the weight of every step. She knows that at any moment, a single wrong glance or an unnoticed word could expose her true allegiance. If the Nazis ever find out what she's been doing, if they discover the network of resistance fighters she's been working with, they will not hesitate to make an example of her. The performance ends and the curtain falls. The applause fills the theater, but Marguerite hears it only faintly, like a distant echo. She bows, smiles, and retreats backstage. The audience may love her, but only she knows the price of the role she's playing. Outside, the streets of Paris are dark, but not empty. The war has a way of creeping into every corner of life. Even here, in the heart of the city, the threat looms large. As Marguerite walks home, she wonders how long she can keep up this charade. How long can she continue to play this dangerous game of survival? Each day, the line between her two worlds, acting and espionage, grows thinner. And each night, as the city sleeps, she rehearses not just for her next performance, but for the next phase of her dangerous mission. Her mind races as she walks through the cobbled streets of Paris. Tomorrow, she'll be back on stage, delivering lines with the same poise. But as she steps into the shadows, she knows that in this city, the real drama is unfolding far away from the bright lights. June 4th, 1943. Paris, France. The night is heavy with the smell of damp cobblestones and the distant hum of the city's uneasy pulse. The world feels smaller in the dark. The shadows press in, folding over themselves like curtains drawn tight around the fragile heart of Paris. For Marguerite, it's another late night, another risk taken. The city's streets seem more dangerous now, as if the walls themselves are listening, watching, waiting for the inevitable moment when everything unravels. The whispers of betrayal are growing louder. Each step she takes on these cracked, uneven pavements feels like a countdown, each second closer to the edge. She pulls the collar of her coat tighter, concealing her identity, though in truth, no one in Paris is truly safe anymore. Not with the Gestapo sweeping through the streets, tracking down resistance members like wild dogs on a hunt. But the resistance is still strong. Marguerite knows this, even as the streets seem to constrict around her, suffocating the hope that she clings to with every passing day. Tonight, she has a meeting, one of those critical exchanges that, if successful, could mean the difference between life and death for dozens of innocent people. The information she is carrying could be the key to sabotaging the Nazi supply lines, crippling their ability to hold on to Paris. But it is also the kind of information that, if it falls into the wrong hands, could spell her end. She approaches a darkened alley behind the theater, her footsteps muffled by the wet earth beneath her feet. There's no turning back now. This is the moment, the culmination of weeks of covert work. Her heart beats faster, not with fear, but with a sense of determination that has been slowly building within her, like the tightening of a noose. She can feel the weight of it, every second ticking by, the oppressive silence of the alley pressing in on her chest. A figure steps out from the shadows, a man she's never seen before, his face hidden by the brim of his hat. He doesn't need to say anything. He just nods, and she hands over the envelope, the small, innocuous package containing secrets that could unravel the Nazi war effort in Paris. Their fingers brush briefly, and it's enough. The exchange is complete. But as Marguerite turns to leave, something shifts in the air, a subtle shift, a telltale sign that she's being watched. A man steps into the alley from the other side, his boots heavy on the wet cobblestones. Marguerite's pulse quickens. The man is dressed too well for this neighborhood. His uniform too crisp, the insignia too obvious. The Gestapo. She knows instantly. Her mind races, but her body doesn't hesitate. She forces herself to stay calm, to keep walking, her pace deliberate, but not too fast. She can't afford to draw attention to herself. It's a game now. Stay calm, stay invisible. Keep the mask in place. 1,000 thoughts flood her mind, but the most pressing one is this. Can she escape? She reaches the end of the alley and steps into the street, trying to blend in with the other pedestrians, their faces tired and hollow, their steps slow with the weariness of living in a city under siege. Marguerite is no different, except that tonight, the eyes of the enemy are on her. She feels them watching her every move, tracing her every step. Every glance from a passerby feels like a sharp knife grazing her skin. Her fingers tighten around the small clutch in her hand, the very same one she uses to carry scripts between rehearsals and clandestine meetings. A group of soldiers marches past, their eyes scanning the crowd. Marguerite's heart hammers in her chest. She doesn't stop. She keeps walking, every step an act of will. Then, just as she rounds a corner, she feels it, the unmistakable tug of a hand on her arm. It's the man from the alley. He's caught up with her, and now he's got her. His voice is low, menacing, as he demands to know where she's been, what she's doing. It's a question that she can't answer with the truth. Marguerite's eyes flicker across the street, her mind working through every possible escape route. If she makes a break for it, she's dead. If she stays, she's dead. There is no safe place here. Not in a city so consumed by suspicion, so filled with the ghosts of the disappeared. But then, in a moment of sheer luck, or perhaps fate, something happens. A group of resistance fighters, dressed as workers, steps into view. They're moving swiftly, their hands full of crates, their faces intent on their task. The Gestapo agent's attention shifts momentarily, distracted by the movement of the workers. It's enough time for Marguerite to slip her arm free and keep walking, her pace quickening as she presses her way into the crowd. She doesn't look back. She doesn't dare. But inside, a storm is brewing. The encounter was too close. The Gestapo agent was too familiar with her. And the longer she stays in Paris, the more she becomes a target. Every moment she spends under their radar feels like a borrowed one, a fragile fragment of time that could disappear in the blink of an eye. When Marguerite reaches her apartment, she locks the door behind her with trembling hands. The adrenaline still pulses through her veins, and her breath is ragged. She leans against the door, eyes closed, trying to steady herself. She's escaped for now, but for how long? She knows this game well. She's been playing it for too long. The rules are clear. You survive until you don't. You fight until there's no fight left in you. As she sits at her small kitchen table, the weight of the night begins to sink in. The risks are mounting. She knows too much now. She's too valuable to the resistance, and far too dangerous to the Nazis. But with every piece of information she passes on, every contact she makes, the danger grows exponentially. She can feel it pressing against her chest, suffocating her in the quiet moments between missions. Her role in the resistance isn't over yet. There is still work to be done. But tonight's close call has shattered the illusion of safety. She's been lucky, but luck only goes so far. Tomorrow, she will be back on stage, playing the role of the actress everyone loves. But as the applause fills the theater, she will be thinking of something far more important, the lives that hang in the balance, and the cost of this double life she has chosen to lead. September 8th, 1944. Paris, France. The city that once glimmered with the vibrancy of Parisian life now feels like a hollow shell, a city reclaimed by shadows. The streets are still, save for the occasional military convoy, their tires grinding against the rough pavement with the weight of a world on their shoulders. The war is nearing its end, but Paris has yet to taste true freedom. The air is thick with anticipation, a silent promise that the final chapter is unfolding, but the cost of that conclusion is still unknown. Marguerite walks through the familiar streets of Montmartre, her eyes scanning every face, every corner, as though the city itself might betray her. She's become adept at reading the smallest details, the way a person's shoulders tighten, the subtle glance exchanged between strangers, the footsteps that follow hers too closely. The resistance has made its move. The Allies are close, and yet she knows better than to allow herself the luxury of hope. The fight is far from over, and in her case, the most dangerous battles are often the ones fought in silence, in secret, in shadows. She is no longer the beloved actress. The world no longer cheers for Marguerite Leclerc as she takes the stage. No, she has become a ghost, a specter drifting through the streets of a city, teetering on the brink of liberation. She spent the last few years playing a part no one could have predicted, taking risks that no one should have had to take. But in the final hours, it's clear to her that the theater of war is much different from the theater of the stage. And now, in the final moments of this conflict, she wonders if anyone will remember the role she played. The sounds of distant explosions echo in the streets as the resistance makes its final push against the occupying forces. Marguerite's role in all of this has been pivotal but silent. She has delivered information, sabotaged supply lines, provided cover for operatives. But all of it has been done in shadows. Her name will never be in the headlines. Her sacrifice will go unnoticed, a footnote in a history that will only ever honor the famous, the outspoken, the visible. But she doesn't care. Not anymore. She knows that her work has meant something, even if it won't be recognized. She knows that the lives she saved, the people she helped, the network she built, will be the true legacy of this struggle. Tonight, though, it feels like everything is coming to an end. The city is on the edge of something monumental, and Marguerite is too tired to care. She's seen so much suffering, so many betrayals, and so many disappearances that she's almost numb to it all. The memory of those she's lost, those she's helped hide, those she's had to leave behind, lingers in her mind like a fog she can't shake. They will never know her name. They will never know the cost of the role she's played in this war. The war has always been an enemy to personal connection. In the early days, she believed in something, believed in the power of resistance, the nobility of her cause. She had thought she could be both an artist and a fighter, that she could save her country and still remain true to herself. But now, as the Allies close in on Paris, she realizes how little of herself is left. How much of her life has been swallowed by the need to survive, to fight, to do what was necessary. She has learned the bitter truth that some sacrifices will never be acknowledged, no matter how great they are. The men and women who fought on the front lines, the generals who orchestrated the operations, the soldiers who bled for their country. Yes, their names will be remembered. Their faces will be etched into history. But those like Marguerite, the quiet ones, the invisible ones, will be erased. They will fade into the background, their contributions forgotten, their courage unrecognized. It's the same as it's always been. The war does not care for the individual. It swallows everything, leaving only what serves its purpose. And yet, as Marguerite walks through the streets of a city on the verge of liberation, she feels no sense of victory. There will be no victory for her. No medals, no applause, no accolades. The people she has worked with, the friends she's lost, will never know how much she gave. And Paris, the city that once adored her, will not remember the sacrifices she made in its name.